Hey yo, you know who we haven't talked about in a minute? Johnny Somali. Yeah, that guy, the so-called bastion of evil, who's been stirring up a whole storm across Asia, and now things just got way worse. Word in the street is Johnny's planning to end himself. Like seriously, he's ready to check out for good. So let's take a trip through this wild ride, from causing chaos on streams to facing the wrath of courts in South Korea, and see how he ended up in this crazy self-destructive spiral. For those of you all that do not know, Johnny Somali ain't your everyday live streamer. This cat's been all about provoking, stirring up controversy, and pushing every boundary he could. Back in 2023, he was on the rise with his IRL streams, causing trouble in countries like Japan and Israel with his outrageous stunts. He would harass people on the streets, drop hateful comments, and even get himself banned from big platforms like Twitch and YouTube. You know how it goes. If you're looking for attention by doing wild, irresponsible stuff, you gotta be ready to pay the price, and man, did he pay up. Now fast forward a bit. After getting kicked out of Japan and causing mayhem in Israel, our boy Johnny landed in South Korea in September 2024. Right off the bat, he made sure everyone knew he wasn't here to play nice. He stormed the streets of Seoul, turning everyday scenes into his personal stage for chaos. Think of it like this: he would hop on the subway, blast obscene music that mixed North Korean propaganda with his own rants, and even pull off a stunt at a convenience store where he spilled noodles all over the place just to watch people freak out. It was like he was on a mission to make sure his name stayed in everyone's nightmares. But here is where the story takes a dark twist. While most folks were screaming and calling for him to be thrown in jail, Johnny dropped a bomb on his audience during one of his party streams. He was all like, "If you all support me, if you keep sending those donations and love chats, I'm ready to crash out on the streets and even die for your all." Now, normally that might just sound like another stunt, but this time it wasn't just shock for shock's sake, it was super serious. You see, deep down, he's been spitting out lines about having no remorse, no self-worth, and no self-preservation. And now, the chatter is that he's planning to end himself, like he's ready to just say bye-bye and check out permanently. Imagine being in his shoes, man. Here's a guy who's made his career on chaos, living off the adrenaline and the donations from viewers who get off the madness he creates. But now, as the legal news tightens around him in South Korea, he's caught in a spiral. His antics led to charges like obstruction of business and a pile of minor offences, from disrupting public transit with his loud music to throwing a dead fish at innocent bystanders. All of this has got the Korean authorities in a tizzy, and they ain't about to let him waltz out of it. So picture this: it is March 2025 and a man shows up for court looking late, hungover, and with that signature rebellious flair, maybe rocking some statement hat or just that defiant sneer. His trials become another stage for his antics. While the judge and the prosecutors are laying down the law, he's there acting like it's just another live stream session, but deep in his eyes there is a heaviness, a realization that maybe this ain't just another stunt. He's talking tough about being the bastion of evil for his anarchist viewers, but now the weight of all those years of chaos and the looming punishment is showing cracks in his armor. Now here is the kicker: alongside all this illegal drama, reports started popping up saying that Johnny's been making some grim statements about his future. In one stream, right after the court session, he was like, "If I'm gonna end up in a cell for life, I might as well end it on my own terms." You know what that means, right? It means that this cat, who once thrived on provocation and chaos, might be reaching his breaking point. For a guy who spent decades clowning around for clicks and clout, considering the end of it all is a whole new level of tragic. And let's not forget the legal team drama. Yeah, just like you've heard in other high-profile cases, there is always some lawyer drama going on behind the scenes. While Johnny's situation is completely different from, say, some other notorious figure, word is that his legal counsel is having a tough time too. Some of its attorneys fed up with the non-stop shenanigans and the moral weight of defending someone who's done so much mess, have started jumping the ship. One lawyer even said he couldn't handle defending a guy who essentially spat on any sense of decency. Now, think about that. If the people who are supposed to guide him through this legal storm are quitting on him, what does that say about how far gone the situation is? All of this paints a picture of a man who's lost his own chaotic narrative. Johnny Somali built his brand on the idea that he was untouchable, that his outrageous behavior was just part of the show, but reality hit hard when the law caught up with him in South Korea. And now, as he stares down the barrel of potential life sentence or a hefty fine that might just end his streaming career for good, he's not just facing jail time, he's facing the emptiness of a life without purpose. His defiant shouts and anarchist rants have turned into a self-destructive whisper. What is the point if I'm already a walking disaster? Imagine being one of his fans who's been cheering him on for all the wrong reasons. They've seen him live stream his wild antics, donate money to fuel the chaos, and revel in the thrill of his rebelliousness. But now, some of the same fans are starting to wonder if the guy they once admired is really worth support. After all, if he's talking about ending himself, then what's the point of all that cash and attention? It's like supporting a train wreck that is spiraling into oblivion. No one's gonna get out of that mess unscathed. And that brings us to the big question. Can money or support really save someone who's lost all sense of self-preservation? You know, some say if you throw enough cash or hype at a guy, maybe he'll find a reason to keep going. But in Johnny's case, he's already laid it out. No remorse, no self-worth, no sense shelf. It's a bleak vision where even the donations and love chats he craves can't patch up a soul that's long been broken. His message is clear: if I'm worthless, then I'm ready to pay the ultimate price. And for a guy who's been living off the adrenaline of his own madness, that is a tragedy on a whole new level. So, as we sit here and watch the saga of Johnny Somali unfold, it is a real-life cautionary tale of what happens when the thirst for chaos goes too far. His journey from once infamous live stream to another wild escapade has left him with a legacy that might one day be remembered, not just for the stunts and pranks, but for the self-destruction that followed. His life is a stark reminder that when you live in a world fueled by clicks and controversy, the line between performance and reality can blur until there is nothing left but the echoes of your own madness. In the end, the Johnny Somali situation isn't just about legal charges or outrageous stunts. It is about a man who built his identity on being the ultimate provocateur and is now staring into the abyss of his own making, with court dates looming, a potential life sentence on the horizon, and a legal team that is starting to crack under pressure. The question remains, is there any redemption left for someone who's chosen self-destruction over self-preservation? Or is this the final act in a show that never had a real beginning? As we wrap up this wild ride through Johnny Somali's world, one thing's for sure: this isn't just another headline, it is a wake-up call about the dark side of viral fame, where the pursuit of chaos can end in irreversible consequences. And if there is one lesson to be learned, it is that sometimes the very things that make you a star can also be the things that lead you to the darkest corners of your own soul. Peace out and stay woke.